And art wise for you, what are you going to be doing in the next year? Do you think is it going to be spoken word pieces? Is there going to be any music involved? Will you ever write a book? I mean, I'm sure people ask you these questions all the time, but is it it's what do you think?
It's definitely going to be music orientated.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've started to listen. I've been introduced to a lot of music, not really so much. I'm not sure what era it is, but like like Tracy Chapman, Neil Young, like a lot of artists who kind of, I find what they do, it kind of resembles what I do as well, and they just translated it in a musical context. So for me, it's really just, how do I still do what I do, but then add but it's not going to be dominated by the music, because my strength is always going to be in the words. It's how am I going to add that musical element to what I do to enhance it and to bring more out of it, because I think auditory, is that the term? From an auditory standpoint, I haven't really explored that, and like we were talking last time, I think it's a really powerful medium to engage with people, and there seems to be a demand for it. Just checking off like my Spotify and iTunes traction, there is quite a demand for me to do more of that, and it's accessible. Everyone doesn't want to sit there for YouTube that whole time, and I find what is successful as audio can obviously can normally translate well into a video, but what's always successful as a video doesn't always translate well into audio. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to balance that.
Yeah, we were talking about that last time about how video sometimes can replace the content. You know, like
you know what I mean?
Sometimes you watch a video screen, it could be anything, and you're worried about all these things going on, and you don't have time to concentrate on the audio.
You don't.
And you can't really think about it because you're too busy.
You're too busy, and I was all about the visual, because I'm a YouTube guy in the sense that YouTube gave me a platform, so I had to learn to utilize that to the maximum. And the visuals was very important to me when I record this. I see a lot of directors who direct spoken word videos, and they've got it all wrong simply just because the camera's not close enough to the person's face, you know, to create an emotion. So I was really in tune with the visual aspect of stuff, because that's how I was trying to promote myself. But then I realized the visual is complementary. A lot of people like what I'm saying outside the context of the visual, but the visual works because in the generation that we're in, a lot of people don't have that time space. If they don't know you already, they're not going to go and look for you to listen to your audio. But I think going forward, I can make quite impact from the auditory perspective, making audio. So I'm going to definitely find a way to complement it with music, you know. And I just I like the challenge.
Yeah.
I think after a while, I get bored of just making videos. I need a new challenge to push myself.
And people need to know you by video. Like people, it would be hard for them to know Sully Breaks if you had just been putting audio clips out.
You know what I mean?
Because like they need to know you. And that's same with us with London Real. I mean, for the beginning, we always did video because I figured you need to see these guys, see the close-ups, right? And get a read on them, and then you can become a fan.
Then you become a fan. Then you're committed to going to pick up the audio, you know?
Right, you're kind of invested in what they're doing.
Yeah, and you know it's quality, innit? Because people don't have time in it. Like they're not gonna go and put something in the iPod if it's not already pre-sold. It's not justified unless someone recommends it, you know. But whereas when they see it in a video, that's your portfolio or your CV, and they're like, okay, this guy is good for it. You know, I can go and listen to him for an hour on the audio.
Yeah. Well, what about collaboration? You mentioned like in China, they said unless you were collaborating with a local, I mean, that could be a huge market for you.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever collaborated with people? It's tricky. It must be. I don't even know how artists do it these days. I mean, when like Shakira and Beyonce collaborate, do they even see each other? No. They just cut the tracks in the studio, right? And say hi at award shows. I mean, I don't even know how that works.
Oh, really? It's interesting because some artists, I've done stuff where I've just cut something and sent it to someone, but it's always the best when you go into the studio and really put stuff together. But I have worked with artists, like local artists, my friends in the past. I've done a lot of that stuff. And if I'm honest with you, I don't really like collaborating too much. I'll collaborate if something really resonates with me the first time I hear it, and I'll be like, let me collaborate. But sometimes when you're collaborating, it feels like you're telling someone else's story too much. You know what I mean? If someone says, oh, can you collaborate on this specific track for me? I prefer to go in the studio and listen. Both of us compose something together, so it's reflective of both of us. But I've got a collaboration that I'm doing at the moment. It's for quite a popular band actually. But I don't want to say too much right now. But I'm doing it, and hopefully that comes out. But I went with him. We went to the hotel. I listened to it. It was really cool, and I was like, yo, I can do this. But likewise, I wouldn't just go and just write something that I think suits the track. I'm going to give myself time and really just develop, and then put something down on the track.
I'm glad you're going into music. I'm actually surprised you said that.
Oh,
just because I you know, a lot of artists, you know, including myself, because I know you give me advice sometimes, is that they're pig-headed about, no, this is what I do, and this is what I do. And I just thought you might stick with spoken word.
I think the spoken word will always be the genre I'll classify it in, but I definitely want to go to. I want to explore that avenue. I want that challenge, and I don't think the spoken word is going to go anywhere. The videos will still be there. That's always going to be the forefront. Yeah. But I definitely think that there's potential, and it's just listen to all this music from the past. You know, like Something Inside So Strong. All this stuff. It really. I feel it really embodies what I'm doing, and I feel like I can replicate what a lot of those great artists did, like in this modern context with what I do. So it's going to be a journey. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes.
I think people, if they found a music track they liked on you, then of course they would come around and then get to your spoken word. So I think I was telling you about the Doors the other day when you were here, and like how they made some. Jim Morrison was their lead singer.
Yeah,
and he's a famous guy. Wrote books and books of poetry, and some of his songs are almost just like spoken word.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And they're just, he was really not even breaking the mold because he was just doing whatever the hell.
Yeah.
I think his first few performances on stage, he had his back to the stage.
Serious?
And he had back to the people, and he would just sing. I mean, he was crazy, and he overdosed and all that stuff, but I mean, he definitely got a message across through his words via some music.
And that's what art's about, I think. And another thing about music, I think it's more accessible to a wider range of people, if you know what I mean. I think it allows it to be more accessible. Yeah. So I definitely think that's why as well. It give me a wider, it gives me a new challenge to reach more people.